So I'm introducing to you here Maria Yraceburu. She's a Karo Apache ceremonialist, storyteller, hugging mama, horsewoman, goofy, fun person, and leader and facilitator of ceremonies for essentially her whole life. Maria was raised in part by her great grandfather on the White Mountains. The what is it? The White Mountain Reservation? Is that
White
right?
Mountain Apache Reservation.
Yeah. In the Mogollon Rim area of Arizona.
Yeah.
And I'm so lucky that I've been hanging out with Maria for the past 23 years or so. Because when I kind of woke up to my own intuitive abilities, I didn't have any framework for it at all. I just sort of went from Catholic lawyer to boom, like channel, intuitive, and with earth wisdom type dreams and guides and symbolism. And so I have a sense that maybe y'all have had some similar experiences where you're having your dreams of the earth and of natural symbology. And if you're like me, sort of modern chick, having these dreams, you might even feel kind of awkward. Like, am I allowed to have these dreams? Because this is like native stuff. This looks like, for me, Native American stuff because I'm in North America. So is that okay? And it was through meeting Maria that I learned, well, there's protocols and there's ways to be respectful and there's things to learn that help us be honorable and work energies in a good way. That nature and power and spirit guides belong to all of us, no matter where our blood ancestry flows from. So yes, welcome to Pamela in Boise and Mary Kay in Milwaukee and Lise in Corvallis and Melissa in Kearney, Nebraska and Heather in North Alabama and Yara, who's in Playa del Carmen, Mexico right now. Oh, goody. It's so lovely to see you here, Shannon, Vanetta. I'm so glad that you're here. So thank you, all of you sacred women, and maybe a few good guys. I don't know. We might have a few boys in the crowd. You're welcome to. So Maria, I asked you to come here and help us learn a little bit about ceremony in the way that you grew up with it. And in particular, to help us, those of us that are intuitively awakening. And when you met me, I remember you saying, oh yeah, you're an awakening channel. Like you basically were like, yeah, you didn't grow up with the land like I did, but you are being contacted by your guides. In fact, I recall the first couple times we met, I was like, oh good, you're here. Will you train me? And I think your answer was, can you hear your guides? I'm like, yeah, all the flipping time. And can you manage them? Like, are you in a good relationship with them? Can you tell the good stuff from the bad stuff? And I'm paraphrasing, obviously, are you creating a bunch of drama? Or are you able to tap good things? And I was like, no, this is pretty good. And you were like, great, you're trained. Now, what you need to know is protocol. You need to know protocol. You need to understand how these systems work. And so that's the piece that I really was excited to bring you here today and have you share with us. It's a little bit about that protocol. Like, what is ceremony from your standpoint? And how can we utilize ceremony and hold ceremony and celebrate ceremony in good ways? What are the key elements of that?
Okay, well, there's a few things there. I'm going to tell you, growing up in a ceremonial society, or what we call dreaming societies, which is indigenous all around the world, it means that from the second of conception, maybe, there's ceremony that your life becomes. So there are many different kinds of ceremonies, I will tell you that, but there is, for the most part, let's define protocol. What is
that? What is protocol?
Before we start getting into, oh, you should do this, or you should try this, or whatever, protocol is like a structured format of how energies flow. Okay. Etiquette, that's the observing the, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ask, like if I'm doing ceremony in Hawaii, I'm gonna make dang sure I got a Hawaiian in tow, right?
Mhm.
I'm not just gonna go to somebody else's land and be setting up and doing things. I want them involved because their ancestors are the guardians of that land. And by doing that and recognizing that part of what we do, we are setting up for a very powerful ceremony, because not only are my ancestors lined up behind me, helping me do what I do, and everyone that's there has that, but we also have that in with the land that is centuries old, that grounds it there and welcomes what we're doing, instead of trying to say, no, 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 you didn't, like, you weren't respectful. Okay. That's where the etiquette part comes in. Okay. So another example of that is like, okay, we have all the public ceremonies that go on in the Southwest and the Pueblos and up at Hopi Mountain, and even our mountain spirit dance that happens on the reservation that has kind of become a tourist thing. Um, what you're looking at is there are things that are considered rules. Now that would be the etiquette part. Again, the respect part, that says, "Oh yeah, when we're having ceremony today, you don't walk across the courtyard in the middle of the village. You go around the outside in the circle to reinforce the structural integrity of what we're doing." So there are things that are watched for by indigenous people to see, yeah, do people have an understanding of this and how energy interplays? There is always the energy of the ancestors of the land. One of the reasons that I was like, oh, yeah, you're having dreams. Great. Okay. uh is, you have dreams from the land that you're born on, and anywhere you are born, no matter what lifetime, um your body's made up of the dirt of that area, your body's made up of
Mm.
the elements of that area. So there's always some kind of connection to the ancestors of that land, and more than likely you had a past life there, right? So there is a certain knowing of some things. um, and so there are certain things that are considered an earth birthright.
Mm. Tell me.
Okay.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Our Earth
So
birthright.
the dreams you have, the spirit guides you have, the visions, whatever, all of that is an earth birthright. And when I talk about ceremonial protocols and stuff, and the elements of ceremony, what I'm endeavoring to teach people who have not been raised in ceremonial structure is how we use that equation to make the ceremony more powerful,
Mm.
to add the guarantee that whatever our intent is going to work. And not only that, but more like quantum leaping, okay? With things that are going to reveal more things and keep that flow going. So you asked, what is ceremony? Ceremony keeps us aligned with the planet's spirit. Now, for ceremony to work, you're gonna like this. With ceremony work, you got to believe the earth is an actual entity that has a name and that you can talk to her and she talks back to you. Otherwise, you're delusional about your ceremonies. Okay. um and we know the child and the imagination and all that stuff can happen as well, but it becomes very intellectual ceremony. It is no longer all encompassing ceremony. That part of the earth has to be incorporated in.
So if we, okay, so I'm just going to slow you down for a minute to make sure that we get
because
it.
you know how I talk.
I do, and I love it. It's like
30
a fire
years,
hose. But here's what I'm getting. Here's what I'm getting so far, and it's great because every time I hear you speak to this, I get a new piece, even though it's been 20 some years, whatever, that we've been doing this. What I'm really getting is, ceremony is working with the spirit and with the land. And so if you're not seeing as, if you're not connecting with spirit as power, as an entity, as something to collaborate with, and you're not seeing the earth as alive and something to collaborate with, then it's just you in your little head making up pretty shows or something like that. Like it's like it's intellectual. Okay. So there's that one. And then I also heard you say that when it comes to protocol, I heard you kind of delineate two different forms. There's protocol with the earth and the energies of the earth there, which is like, and when we honor the current guardians of that land, we're also honoring the spirits of the earth there.
Yeah.
But we also may have past life connections with that land. We may have dream connections with that land. And that's all part of our birthright, that part.
Yeah.
And then I heard you speak to being respectful with the people and the culture as etiquette. Like there might be rules when you walk into somebody else's traditional structure, they've got rules, and those rules are really set up to contain the energy and to run the energies of the ceremony in a certain way. We got to respect those. So when we go to a place like Hawaii, for example, where that is a living, breathing ceremonial culture, that it's not okay for us, even if we've had past lives, even if we kind of feel drawn or whatever, that really we also need to honor etiquette, which is you get in touch with a huna, you follow the etiquette, the rules of the heiau and of the ceremonies there. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
That's kind of what I'm alluding to. I guess alluding to because, there's like so much more. And part of that is also, okay, let's go to the ceremonial aspects right quick that we include in the protocol. Okay. So there's 4 things that are always included in a group ceremony. Okay. So mostly I'm addressing group ceremony here. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is that we always have intention and the calling of energy, that invitation to partner up.
Yeah.
We call it in the host world, we're going to join up. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the invitation, that is like, yes, I go over here to this elder and I ask permission. And once I have his permission or her permission, I'm coming over here and I'm actually asking the spirit guardians of the land. I'm making offering. I'm putting that out. I'm asking for permission to do these rituals, and they know my, what my intention is.
Yeah.
And then they send me a sign, yes or no. By the way, you have to be able to accept no. Otherwise, I'm going to declare you are an entitled bitch and you ain't doing nothing with me. How's that?
Oopsie poopsie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to be able to accept no in your life. All right.
Yeah.
By the way, if you follow these protocols, you never hear no.
Huh.
Okay. I've never once received a no when I just am respectful of the spirits of the land and the caretakers of the indigenous.
And I have heard a no on a number of occasions, or more like a slow your roll, bitch. Like, whoa, lady, like, not yet. I've definitely heard that in opening that up before. And then I got to listen and I got to humble myself and go, oh shoot, what did I miss?
Well, and that's the way to handle it. If you do get a no, it's like, what do I need to do to get a yes? Right. And usually it's pretty simple stuff. It's not really anything that's hard or intense. We had that situation out in Hawaii when you and I went where I was asked how should we handle something? And I told them and they did the exact opposite. And it's like, now you got to go make offering to the ocean because it's not my good side you got to get on. It's the island. So Get
Yeah.
out there and get it done, and then come back and we'll finish. So it's okay. So the ceremony, I'm trying to stay within a framework here.
Yeah,
And
yeah. So
you know
number one,
how I get.
invitation.
So
Okay, number one,
so that's it.
invitation. There's
Invitation,
four.
talking to the land and
Yeah.
those ancestors and stuff. And then when we come into group, there's all these preparations that happen before you ever even
Mm.
enter group based on what kind of ceremony you're doing. And remember, I said there's different kinds. There's actually 7 different categories of ceremony, and each has a little different build, but they're going to contain these 4 aspects, all of them. It's
Okay.
just the orders and how we play them out that changes. So you do your preparation work, and then you go into group, and of course, then you have the group setting of intention, right? And you
Hmm.
have the little rituals that bring in the container work and make that container strong. And then there's always some type of healing. Okay. There is always some type of gratitude that is done. And there is always something that puts your vision on the future, on
Hmm.
being whole. We did
Yeah.
this healing and all this. Now, how do you see yourself whole? Where do
Yeah.
you see yourself a couple days down the line? Where do you see yourself a year from now? Or even, doing the kind of visioning that lets us see what's possible happening,
Yeah.
that kind of visioning. So all of those things are contained within the ceremony. And then there's the big closeout, right? Um, one
So
of
when you
the,
say there, I have to stop because my
yeah,
brain is spinning. You said there's 4 things. How are you grouping all this stuff?
intention, healing, gratitude, vision.
Got it. Thank you. That's what
Okay.
I had. I just have to make
Yeah.
sure we were on the same
So when
page.
I'm talking about asking
Mm-hmm.
permission, making offering, leaving it, all that preparation work, that all goes into the intention. So
It's all
intention is like
intention.
this
Yeah.
is probably actually the biggest part of it, because it starts
Yeah.
with the person facilitating the group, goes through all this get ready, and then there's the first part of the actual public ceremony, which is we all now set intention, right? And so all of that comes under intention work.
Yeah. And preparing yourself before you, like, sometimes for me, that's the hardest part, is to not go in exhausted and strung out, but like to prepare myself so that I'm like ready to sit with the land and go at the pace of the land, and to ask permission and really get humble and to be a collaborator and not a bully.
So I will say care and maintenance of us facilitators, another class. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
it's a
foundation.
whole nother class, people.
That one will take forever on its own.
Right.
But part of that's learning about your own tracking schedule and the energies and how you work with them. Because I do see a lot of people that are running way too fast in their timing and not allowing for the integration part of it, which comes afterwards. And you got to have that, or you're going to fall on your face.
I
Okay.
know.
You're
I
going to
gotta
have a
get that
nervous
in.
breakdown. You are literally running electricity with each of these things that you are doing through your physical body. And
Mm.
if that is not attended to, you're going to end up with all these things that I can't even keep track of,
Yeah.
okay, that I hear
Yeah.
about on the internet. And basically, it's an overload on the nervous system.
It's like all the autoimmune stuff, and
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned healing, and I know that when we do ceremony together, there's sort of 4,
Yeah.
like the 4 pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to speak to those briefly?
Yeah, those are the 4 foundational directions. So you hear a lot of indigenous people talking about the directions, and I know you've learned to call in the directions when you're doing ceremony. And what that is, again, is we're having these forces of nature and the natural world join us with what's happening, and they become the protectors for your ceremony. We address in my tradition, Melissa said I'm Kiro Apache. Kiro isn't really, and it's like bigger than Apache. I'll tell you that, bigger than Apache. When Apaches first came to the area, we were actually Navajo, Apache, and Kiowa. and that name was Quero, and that's where the Quero came from.
Mhm.
Um, and then after settling down in the area, those branches went in different ways after they learned how to live here. So, like the Kiowa learned how to buffalo hunt with the Comanche, and the Navajo learned how to weave with the Hopi, and then the Apache. Well, the Apache, we just kept hunting in them mountains. That's what we do.
Mhm.
Give me a horse and a bow, and I'm good to go. A little more isolated, less kind of communal. Autonomy was really big to the Apache bands that came together. No village, or you read about all these Apache bands and things in history and stuff. I'm going to tell you, no village was bigger than probably 24 people.
Wow.
So it's not real big stuff until we had to go to war, and then
Mm.
we came together. But that was kind of how autonomy was reinforced. So you have rights, since we're speaking autonomy. You have rights. Your right is to have a relationship with the earth.
Mm.
Your right is to know that you are here to serve a purpose. And part of the responsibilities, growing up in ceremony, what I learned was, for everything, like every age I hit, right,
Mhm.
there would be a rite of passage. Well, like seconds after the rite of passage, there would be initiation, because once you've done it, and the next ones, we're going to jumpstart you into the next thing.
Okay.
And so with each age growth spurt, if you will, or spiritual growth spurt, something was added. So I started out just like following the adults around, going to the public parts of ceremony, listening to stories, sitting around the fire, listening to Grandpa act it out, because he was quite an actor. I will attest, that's probably where I get it from. And you know so that kind of stuff, just being
Uh-huh.
present, not really being involved, but yet, I'm 4 years old. I am like involved in this story
Yep.
kind of thing, right? And then when I was 6, it got a little more advanced, went in and learned certain basic rituals. And basically what that meant, from 6 to 10, I got to carry water for people in ceremony. But I was part of the full ceremony
That's
now,
right.
right?
You were.
That
You
I'd
had
go
your
make
role.
sure their water bottles were full. I'd water the sacred tree, whatever, right? But
Uh-huh.
that was my job. All the kids
Mhm.
that age, this is what we did. And
Uh-huh.
we got a little more involved. And we got special recognitions that happened with that on, you
Yeah.
know.
That's cool.
This is something I didn't get to do before I was 6. Now I can. And when
Mhm.
I was 10, I got to be door guard for sweat lodges, and watch for signs, because by then the nature signs had come into play, and we'd learned how to watch those. So the sweat lodges, whether they were held for full-blown cyclic ceremonies
Mhm.
or for actual healing ceremonies. Okay, so you have cyclic ceremonies, you have healing ceremonies, you have rites of passage, you have initiations. These are some of the few types of ceremony we had. And so here at 10, I'm doing this. I'm watching for signs for people. So I started in the guardianship roles. How am I there for people a little bit more? And developing my own skills at visioning and understanding, as well as in the tracking. We also learn about the cycles and the seasonal things, and what types of ceremonies are appropriate. So, like some of our stories, some of our ceremonies, those can only be done in the winter.
Mhm.
You go to some of the reservations and you talk about that, and they say, "Shh, you can't talk
Can't
about
even
that.
talk about it. That's
You
not a
can't
story
talk
we
about
tell
that."
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to wait till winter to do that. It's not
This is
appropriate.
this
Now
is
that's
such an important aspect of ceremony that I've learned with you that I had no idea even existed before learning with you, which is ceremony is not just like, I mean, I grew up going to church every Sunday. And yeah, there was like, okay, on Christmas you do a special thing, on Easter you do a special thing. But
yeah,
the way that we work with ceremony inside of your cosmology is like every moon holds a different energy. And every one of those pockets of time is a different space on the wheel of our personal evolution. And we go through that wheel every year and we keep upgrading ourselves. And this is stuff that you live and that your family has lived with. Like, well, it's this moon, so of course we're working with this. And, and I've loved bringing that into like the wisdom collective that you come and teach in. And because in a more simple way with our wheel of wisdom, that's the very simplified version of the greater 24 stone medicine wheel that you work with, and 24 moon medicine wheel that your people have used for a long time. But I just wanted to highlight that, because maybe if you're watching, you've never considered that ceremony isn't just like a special celebration we do at a certain time. It's a way to count the rhythm. It's a way to count and to anchor the evolutions that are happening. And when we talk about rites of passage, we're talking about ceremonies that we can use to heal and up level really swiftly.
Yeah.
And we're going to be, you're going to come to the land again in September. We're going to hold space for a retreat. You guys are all invited. Because when we come together on the land in retreat, we can drop into that ceremonial space and we have such a great time. It's so fun. And we like make crafty stuff and we say our prayers and we sing our songs. And somehow in those 2 days, it feels like 7 years of healing just happened. And that's the power of ceremony, the way that you land it in just the right timing cycle. So I was wondering if you could give us a hint as to because you're an energy tracker. And and those of us who are in your apprenticeship, which Maria has an apprenticeship that you can join, is ridiculously reasonably priced, to work directly with Maria and learn more about the wheel and about these cycles. But you're tracking each one of us. You're tracking us according to our birth date and what star we were born under and all this kind of stuff. And so a lot of us I know that have been studying with you notice that when we try, we don't do it the same way that you do unless we've been doing this a really long time, but we try to just stay in alignment with the cycles of ceremony for ourselves that uniquely fit ourselves and that fit the seasons of the year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it is so sanity producing. It is so and it's such a beautiful syncing of being in perfect timing.
Yeah.
And watching some of those freaky anxieties and health stuff go away because we just simply catch up with ourselves. So, I mean, we share this calendar, and you've been sharing the calendar inside the Wisdom Collective, each moon, each cycle, each season. It's a lot to get used to, but it's also somehow simple because it's so validating, because each time we talk about it, we all go, oh yeah, you're right. Like we did just feel ourselves move from the hottest, the Sundance point of the year. We did just feel ourselves turn the corner. We can start to feel, even though it's still hot summer, things are starting to shift. The light is shifting and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the cyclic part of it, I want to speak to that for a second. The cyclic part of it, whether you're going to like a women's circle or doing our cyclic ceremonies, I always found it when I was, like starting to go into high school and putting more intellect to what was going on, right? What I noticed for me was that I would go get filled up at ceremony, right? Because I mean, it's an emotional high, you're packed full of stuff. And I'm going to tell you that the power is generated, like you were talking about quantum leaping, from that wasn't exactly what you said, but with each ceremony I just did 7 years of healing in like 4 days or whatever, right?
Exactly.
What makes that happen is not us. It's Mother Earth. because we have set this up in a cycle where her energies support what we're doing.
Right.
So
Okay.
when we do the tracking, okay, of when should we hold this ceremony, we're looking at when does mother support that? Okay. Now, that's a lot of outside ceremony that I do. I will tell you that because everything I do comes out of the 13 main ceremonies. It's just, am I only going to do this part or I'm only, what are they asking for? Right.
Uh-huh.
Because on my terms, you'd all be here for 7 days and we'd be doing 7 days of dancing and all that in person, not
Mhm.
online. Right. There's
Mhm.
some things you can't do online. So we got to
Mhm.
whittle it down to what's possible
Yeah.
and still make a difference. But the
Yeah.
making a difference is Earth's cycle, okay? And you and I were talking the other day about how there's 13 major ceremonies within our system, okay?
Mhm.
And it's like from one to the next one to the next one. It's like every time we come to ceremony, like you have the globe, right? That's our mother. And when we do the ceremony, it's like when you push that globe with your hand and it spins. So
Mm.
every time we come, we're doing this and it keeps time returning. That's actually what these ceremonies, they're ceremonies that return time. That's kind of how they translate. Ceremonies that
Mhm.
return time, which means it keeps time revolving. Okay. That's what we do for the planet. When we come to ceremony, we're telling mom, yeah, I believe you're real. I believe you do this stuff for us,
Mm.
which heals her heart. Okay.
Mm.
Now, everybody talks about how mom's like, all pissed off at us and all. No, mom's hurt.
Mm.
Mom's hurt because her children hurt.
Mm.
Okay. And as far as earth changes, she's going through cyclic evolution. Okay.
Mhm.
Most of the women I know in this group, and there's quite a few I don't know. I didn't see any guys, so we're going to include you though. And that is, do you flip and look the same as you did when you were 5 years old today? We call that evolution. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
The earth is no different. If you accept she's a living entity with physical form, just like we are, she goes through changes as
Mm.
well. Now,
Mm.
each time the surface of the planet changes, we have what we call a different world dynamic, which means things work differently. There's a different energy equation that makes things powerful. And we left 2012. You guys left soul sickness. When are you going to close the door?
Mm. Say more about that.
Okay. Soul sickness. Okay, we have 7 world dynamics in our cosmology and legends, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it actually is and the bigger aspect of the world, how you talk about it. But each one of these worlds speaks to how we were. And so, first world's kind of hard to describe to people because we all came here as rocks or crystals to make the planet.
Mhm.
Okay. But we also had within that crystalline structure all the records of the future
Mm.
already within us.
Mm.
Okay. Our job and the reason that we're here on the planet is to learn to feel everything. We came here to experience everything.
Mm.
So what that meant for the first 4 worlds was de-evolution. Okay.
De-evolution. Yeah.
De-evolution. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Going down into the pit of muck, okay? And
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna say we recently had septic problems here. I'm thinking septic tank. I'm not thinking a
Right?
well, okay? I'm
Right.
thinking down into the muck.
Yeah.
Okay. So the second world is a little easier because we can now give it human attributes. And so what we're looking at is what a lot of people describe as Lemuria and the things that came about, the teachings with Lemuria about relationship, how to be in relationship, okay, how to work with spirit, because relationship's not just about human beings, okay,
Mm.
it's how we address everything, even a little atom, okay. When
Mm.
you live in my world, there is no becoming one with, we already are. Okay,
Yeah.
we see things, we hear things, we don't dismiss things. That's part of our totality. We overlap vision, which means I can see like 1897 overlapping now and have it be people doing the same thing. That's
Mhm.
overlapping vision. Um, so second world was Lemuria. Third world was Atlantis. Very technological.
Mm.
Okay. And a downgrade from Lemuria for all you people that like Atlantis. I had lifetimes there
Mhm.
too. Okay. We're still going down closer to the muck, okay? And the
Mhm.
stench is starting to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right. Then you get into the fourth world when Atlantis sank, and that's the world of soul sickness. And when we're working with soul sickness, it was how bad would humanity get? Okay. That's
Mhm.
actually wallowing around in the pit. Okay. And
And this is us at the end of the fourth world. This
this
is
is us.
us.
This is us. We
Here we
chose to be
are.
born
Yeah.
in that transitional time, right? And
Yeah.
so here we are, programmed by the time element we were in, which is loss of self esteem, soul fragmentation,
Mhm.
all of these things that took human beings down to I'm not worthy.
Mhm.
Okay. Then you step into that fifth world, and now it's about the filling up. It's about coming back. The belief in self, the belief in relationship with the earth, but also the understanding that I am part of the total. I'm not supposed to individualize. It's not just on me to do. So
Yeah.
that weight of the world comes off your shoulders because you're always partnered with something,
Yeah.
whether it's human or not. And it is a matter, probably our greatest lesson right now is how to stay face forward
Mhm.
and not fall back into the familiar of dysfunction.
Yep.
That's
Pretty
something
tough.
else ceremony gets you out of on a regular basis.
So I just want to pause and say, this is why if you're an intuitively guided, intuitively awakening person who's interested in ceremony, which is what you are because you're here, this is why. And so I just wanted for Maria to give you this look at these major cycles, the first world, the second world, the third world, the fourth world. We're turning it. We're turning it. And when she talks about spinning the globe, that's what I'm seeing is like, oh, no wonder we're so compelled
Yeah.
to do ceremony and to invite people into ceremony because we're like the edge riders and we really want to bring people around the corner with us.
Yeah.
Like, and we just intuitively know that reconnecting with everything, which is really a major theme of the fifth world, this reconnection. We've been so separated out and now we're starting to come back together. And that starting to come back together is also causing all these reactions in the political sphere and the
Mhm.
cultural sphere of the soul sickness trying to hold on. And it's like it can't because it's evolving. And so if something deep in you knows that, oh,
Yeah.
it's time. Like I know that it's time, even though things look dire. I know that actually we're on the verge of something fantastic. And
Yeah.
you're right. And ancient prophecy has been saying so for thousands of years. And ceremony is the tool that
Yeah.
we've been using for thousands of years to support these points of evolution.
Yeah.
So,
So with the ceremony, and we're now in the fifth world. I mean, like in year 15 of the fifth world. Okay, it's
mhm,
still a new baby. Um, and if you think of the years like days you've been alive, you have a closer proximity to what we're actually talking about. But the fifth world is known as the world of coming together. And it's not it's about humans coming together. It's about us coming together with the planet and other entities. By the way, ET reunions are on your horizon, not that far off.
mhm,
But it's also about bringing all the aspects of who you are back into you. We talk right now with my students, a lot of them. We're going through initiations, and our major focus is how do we bring things back through our healing of what's happened in the past to again become well, Marvel comic heroes, supernaturals.
Uh-huh.
Because in the old days, I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're talking European legend or you're talking Native American legend, shapeshifters, okay? Yes, this guy in this myth could split back and forth between a bear and a human at will, right? Hey, guess what? This is one of the attributes that you have left behind that you're
Mm.
re-evolving into. Okay? Because the more that we connect, and ceremony is the creation of the edifice for this to happen,
Mhm.
the more you start to engage and utilize and build the muscles of your clairsentience, your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, mental telepathy will be in play by the end of the fifth world. We won't be using this except to sing.
Mhm.
Hallelujah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think about the clarity of communication without words, because that's
Mm.
where we get screwed up at. Okay.
Translation.
When we are
Yeah.
completely involved in sensory telepathy, which means you understand what your body's feeling, like 80% of that is the planet in transition. There's nothing you can do about it. So stop trying.
What? You mean I can't control this whole thing?
10% of it's
Come
empathy
on.
for human beings you care about.
Mm.
That's only 20%.
Mm.
Okay. So
Got
where's
it.
you? Okay. You are all of it. You are the total. Okay. But what you are experiencing within your body is the language that as you heal your dysfunctions or you close the door on them, which by the way is a healing too. You don't have to dissect everything. Okay.
Mm.
Um, is that more and more of this I am one with totality. Um, in our language, I, we don't have a word for I. I learned that coming out here.
Mm.
I. Everything's addressed in the we.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
We do this. We do that. This affected us. Okay. It's always that whole
The
verbiage
collective.
that we're talking about.
Mm.
Yeah. The collective.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull us back in to just make sure that we fulfill on our promises that we gave you guys coming here, because this is so profound, and I think it's really important to understand this greater picture, like this macro view of what ceremony is inside of an indigenous tradition like this, and probably every indigenous tradition
Yeah.
that any one of us is coming through. It's like
Yeah.
this is part of the whole. It's always connected to all. And as we zero in, I know that some people came to this talk because maybe they lead ceremony and they're like, wow, what do I need to know? You know what?
Yeah.
And we already spoke to, I think, maybe the most important aspect was just to be aware of protocols in terms of showing up with humility and connection to the land and asking permission, and also checking in with the humans involved in having proper etiquette protocol to work with the people who are the stewards of the place where you are. And you also spoke to the internal protocol of really grokking that when you're doing ceremony, you are collaborating
Yeah.
directly with the entity, with the intelligence that is the big mama earth, and with the intelligence of spirit, that you're part of a team.
Yeah.
And then we started speaking about sort of there's healing involved, there's a gratitude involved in ceremony because that's the frequency that we want to embody in ceremony. Um, and there's visioning often of the future to carry us into what's next. But I'm
Yeah.
just curious if there's any like things that you wish people would know, you know, as we go out and we're holding intuitive ceremony or we're playing with each other in these ways. Is there anything else you feel
Um,
like we should know? Maybe mistakes that you see us making. You know, let's call it out.
okay. The biggest mistake I see most of you making is the run from one thing to another,
Uh,
and not allowing for integration. Now, when we talk about
Mm.
integration after a ceremony, when you come to my stuff, and Melissa knows this, I always advise, depending on how big it is, like Moon Lodge, okay, just take it easy tomorrow, okay.
Mm.
You can go
Mhm.
to work and you can do stuff, but avoid the drama queens, okay.
Mhm.
But if you come like to a 5-day thing or a 7-day thing, you're gonna wanna take a day or 2 off. You're
Mm.
not gonna wanna go out there because this is not just integration about what you intellectually received. You literally have been taken to a higher frequency of vibration, and your body needs to adjust,
Mm. Thank
okay?
you. Yeah, I need that
Um,
reminder.
so a lot of times, taking a day off or, and just laying around or gardening, it's not you
Mhm.
can't do things. It's that you want to be very intentional in what you're doing and it's not going to a shopping mall.
Yeah.
Okay. It's, people fly into my house, so I have to let them fly out. But if I had my druthers, they'd stay a couple days and not get on an airplane and go to an
Mhm.
airport,
Mhm.
especially now.
Mm.
But the
Mhm.
government took care of that for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Um, so
Okay. Yeah.
that's
Post-ceremony integration. So
yeah.
huge.
Post ceremony integration is really important. Um, One of the things I do know is walking your talk. Okay. And I'm going to
Mm.
bring that into play. There are not levels of integrity. You either are or you aren't. And it starts with how you treat yourself within all this. Um, because if I'm out there doing things and I'm not walking my talk, why the fuck would anybody follow me
Mm. Mm.
into this? The other thing is if I'm not in integrity, I'm not providing a tight container.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And the tighter the container, the more we include earth and the spirits around us, the more powerful the magic is. And I'm going to call it that because that's what we call it, earth magic.
Mhm.
Okay. And it
Yeah.
has the power to produce powerful, miraculous physical healings. Melissa's been part of groups that we've called together in prayer work for people. And lo and behold, you know, broken neck one day, 3 days later, the swelling goes down and there ain't no broken neck. Okay. So this happens. This is part of our reality is the fantasy, the mystical, the things that
Mhm.
you've been taught if you have not grown up this way that aren't real. So, probably the biggest point is the belief factor. Ceremony keeps you in the energy, so your belief factor stays up
Mm.
there and
Mhm.
more can happen.
Yeah. So that tight container, like we already spoke to, invoking the highest guides, like
See, I
invoking.
got a problem with that word. I
Tell
am
me,
going to
tell me,
tell you, okay?
tell me.
Invoking
Mm.
says, I go to different things and they'll do invoking. Usually Wiccans do that, I think, is I invoke upon something like that, right?
Mhm.
We don't invoke. I don't demand anybody come. I invite.
Mhm. Okay.
I invite. They have a right to say no, just like I do.
Yeah. Yeah, that totally makes
So
sense.
I invite.
And who you're inviting or what you're inviting.
Depends on the type of ceremony I'm doing.
Yeah. So what are your keys to creating that tight container?
The key one, first off, is my self care,
Mhm. Okay.
my self care, and then the tracking, making sure it's the intended ceremony is in the energy of the earth that supports it,
Mm.
and then, woohoo! After we got that far, then it's calling in for my support facilitators.
Uh-huh.
Who do I select? Because basically,
These are
we
the
will get
human ones.
the human ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That I call in the human ones. And, you know, I do that based on an energy. So when I'm setting up a multi facilitator ceremony or program,
Mhm.
I look at the energy, I look at what I want to do, which is based on the actual cyclic ceremony, right? And then I look at the energy of the people that I like to play with.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, yeah, that one, and that one fall into these areas of energy. And so then I contact them And I say, "Hey, you wanna come help facilitate this?" And they go, "What do you want me to do?" Because the answer is always yes. I am a good, circus ringleader,
You
okay?
are.
People
You're a good
people
ringmaster.
have a
We're gonna
lot
get
of
you the
trust
hat.
in my
Yeah.
tracking, and, so they say to me, "What would you like me to do?" And I say, "I don't care, just show up. All I care about is you're in that spot."
Yeah.
And it
And this get
makes
ready.
something spontaneous and miraculous and powerful. And it helps all my facilitators learn what it's like to be trusted.
Uh-huh. Totally. And get ready because if you're coming in September,
Mhm.
we've already got several sort
Woo!
of we know that there's people coming who are going to fill certain things and just be ready
Everybody has a
because
role, even if it's carrying
everybody's
water
going to have
around.
a role. Everybody's going to have a role because it's not a hierarchical ceremony thing where there's one perfect guru person leading the situation.
Oh, heck no.
It's there's a ceremonialist who creates the space
Yeah.
and invites the people in, but when you're in, it is a collaboration every time. And so when you're coming to ceremony, it's very likely that after you sign up, we'll go, oh, that person, oh, and this is their energy. Okay, they're going to play this role.
That's exactly it.
Boom. It's like the pieces all come in. It's really beautiful. So just be ready
So
for that. So
on
you
that
call in
note,
your
yeah.
humans.
On that note, though, I will tell you all that a key element to ceremony is that once we have that list of people that are coming, we track them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that so whether they're gonna play a role or whether they're gonna be a person that's coming in with something major to heal, I'm gonna know about that ahead of time, okay? And tracking, I'm gonna tell you guys, tracking can be done pretty much with any form of divination, but you have to believe in it.
Mm, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the container, self-care, timing, tracking the cycles, tracking the right timing, calling in the support of the
Yeah.
facilitators. And what else? Anything else you want to say about creating that container?
You have the right to tell people no, they can't come.
Mm, that's powerful. Yeah.
I think
And
that
when do
would
you
be the
tell them
last
that?
part about the container. Well, when I do the tracking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So like I never like do a lead up, sign up and have it end on the day that we start, okay? I
Mm-hmm.
allow myself a certain amount of time beforehand and the bigger the event, the further out it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of stuff to get ready for a big one. Like we have to make presents for everyone, right? That's
Right?
part of it, right? An
Yeah.
honoring gift and we don't buy them, we make them.
That's
So
right.
there is a certain amount of time that's necessary. So if it's going to be a bigger group or a bigger ceremony, it takes a little longer. That always gives me the opportunity to track people and see what's going on with them. And it's a rarity because, I always put out to the sacred parents, that's spirit and earth. Please bring the people that will benefit from this,
Yeah.
that can actually receive this. So they're a big buffer with people that don't do their work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're just like 15 years out into the fifth world. So
Mm,
people haven't learned they have to do their own stuff yet.
mm,
And they help me with that and how I receive people into circle. So yeah, so that again is yeah, part of that tracking of the energies because
mhm.
every element plays a key role in what we do and how
Yeah.
the energy is going to build.
And people who come and attend ceremony with you are always amazed at how magically everything just lays out. There's never drama. And if something pops, there's always a way to use it. It's like you're so masterful, and it's been such a profound honor and joy to get to learn. And yes, learning with you means showing up and being there, not like blah, blah, blah. Like we, you know, it's beautiful to hear you speak to these things, but what's really
Yeah,
amazing is being with you while it's happening and learning it in my body
yeah,
through direct transmission. So I know we're coming to the end of our time. So I just
yeah.
wanted to say thank you so much for sharing so much here, Shima Maria. I did put the link here for the retreat info. It's at channelyourgenius.com/one heart.
Mhm.
And we would love to have you guys there. We just opened registration, and it's going to be a really beautiful weekend here on the land. Some people will choose to camp. Some people will choose to stay at an Airbnb or one of the cute hotels in town. Either way, we're going to feast together. We're going to sit together. We're going to do some really crafty, fun stuff together. We're going to pray together. We're going to heal together. We're going to float in the pond, my beautiful swimming pool pond together. So if that's something that interests you, now's the time to jump in for that, because we do keep it small. We keep it intimate. So if you want one of those spots, and all the proceeds go to Maria's spiritual nonprofit that supports Indigenous elders carrying on this information so that we don't lose it, and supports healing work with the horses, healing work in a lot of ways across a lot of countries, honestly, really taking what Maria has and sharing it in a really open way that we can use it. So let's see. I know there were a couple of fun questions.
I know somebody asked about turkeys.
Lori had asked about turkeys. That's giveaway energy.
That's giveaway.
So this is just a generosity.
There's actually two types of giveaway. There's an honoring giveaway, which is you're honoring someone and you're gifting them. And the other one is the giveaway of the dysfunction, the pain, the release. So you have to decide which it is.
Super cool. Yeah, super cool. Yara had asked, I'm curious, Melissa, did you hear the no from spirit or human? And I've gotten both. I've gotten my ass whooped a couple times on protocol when I blew it. I had to get humbled because I think I'm like a lot of us. I just like, well, spirit told me to do blah, blah, blah. And I just kind of come blasted in. And I had to learn how to show up and collaborate with, different spirit traditions, different people. And that's why we're here, you know? And I love that you spoke about birthright, birthright, Maria, because sometimes, at least with me and my little white guilt or whatever, I could just shut down and hide and go, oh, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and I don't want to do the wrong thing. So I'll just hide over here. But what I've learned with Maria is, be nice, learn protocol, be willing to get your hand slapped once in a while by an elder. But also, this is your birthright, your purpose. And part of the work actually that happens in the One Heart retreat is us really revealing through the oneness and connectivity what our own unique gift is as a leader. This is part of the leadership rights. So this retreat is meant for you to step into your own leadership, but from this state of oneness. So there's so much that could be shared. There's so much to share. But we're going to have to close it out and encourage you guys to join us in the Wisdom Collective, join us on retreat. Lots of ways to connect with Maria. We will send out a follow-up email so that you have all the links also for the Spiral Dance Apprenticeship that you could join and learn directly with Maria, and all kinds of good stuff, the Earth Magic gatherings that are going to be happening over the next year. So there's plenty more, but we'll send those out to you in an email. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. And if you have people that you feel should know this information, we're going to put this video up on my YouTube channel as well, because this is information that everyone should have access to. Thank you. Thank you, Shima. I love you.
Love you too.
And we're sending you guys big hugs to everybody. Thank you for being here, and have a fantastic day.